So I don't fret over things I have no control over, and it's when it gets done, it'll be awesome to get him back here.
Do you check in or out with Joe? Like, do you ask him for updates or anything like that? Or
No, Joe and I are talking all the time about a million different things, but I also don't want to burden him with, hey, you hear anything? You hear anything? But because there's a million conversations that we're having every day with regards to personnel and things that we want to do, not only from a team standpoint, but just an organizational standpoint. So,
you have a couple of quarterbacks coming in for workout, I guess, today. Have you changed your thinking on wanting to add another arm to camp right now?
No, it's like we've said, we've always been talking about it. We've always been thinking, we're always trying to stay ahead. Sometimes we bring guys in just to cross our T's, dot our I's for emergency situations, and make sure that we are always having a list. So these are all just standard protocols. But as far as the quarterback is concerned, we have two guys here now, and it's to bring these guys in who also know the system. Mannion's been with Sean McVay at the Rams, and obviously Josh has been with us in San Francisco. So to get these guys in here and see where they're at will be a good thing.
What did you think of your two quarterbacks today?
There was some good. I know that my back was turned, or my eyes were somewhere. I think it was James threw a pick to Eccles, but I think that was more of a product of tremendous technique on the DB's part and the overall structure of the defense with what was being asked of him. But overall, I thought it was a good day. I know the D-line was getting some push today also, so it was a little bit muddy in there for those guys to operate.
Robert, you said yesterday that you wouldn't really consider bringing in a veteran or a backup until it kind of became pressing. When does somebody need to get in here to be able to make an impact and be ready for you guys?
Well, that's part of it. There's a lot of ways you can look at it. There's I don't have numbers, but we're talking about this veteran quarterback thing, and I respect the heck out of it. I appreciate the question, but I believe you asked about a quarterback that can come in and win, and throughout the league, a backup quarterback, whether they're veteran or not, it's just there's not a lot of wins happen. It's a rare thing for it to happen. It has happened before, but when you look at what's out there and the investment that we've put out in our players and James and Mike and what we've been able to achieve overall through OTAs and the growth that they've made, it'd just be irresponsible almost to think that that somebody else will be able to come in because of what you just asked, with how far along do these guys have to be able to supplement the growth that they've already had.
Does part of your philosophy stem from being in San Francisco? Because you guys had to change quarterbacks obviously a few times because of injuries, and neither of those guys, like Beathard and Mullen, had experience. They were untested guys.
Yeah, obviously being with Kyle and seeing how he operated helped. Being with Coach Kubiak and his style helped. But in Seattle it was the same thing. You invest in these young guys, and Tony Romo never gets found as an undrafted free agent unless you're willing to invest in them. Tom Brady, like all these guys, and it's unless you're just always thinking about bringing in a veteran just for the sake of making everybody feel good. It doesn't mean that the veterans aren't useful, because there's a lot of useful cases, but at this point right now with Mike White and James and the progress that they've shown and the investment that we've made, it's just let's see what these guys, give them a chance and see what we can get out of them. You never know what you might find. So
do you plan on trying to get a hold of Zach and seeing where his head is at?
The only conversations that I've had with Zach is football. I do not mess with the money part of it. That's for him, his agent, and Joe.
Has Zach reached out to you at all within these last 2 days just to kind of see how practice is going or anything?
I know he's had conversations with Mike with regards to install and all that, and there's been dialogue back and forth. So, but he's in a good place. He's a sharp kid. He's going through the process. His first season too. So we'll be excited when he gets here, and it's going to be it'll be good not to have to answer questions about him in his contract.
Do you have to watch practice like on his iPad and stuff, or what's the?
You know what? I'm not sure about that one. That's a good question.
At what point would you start to get concerned that he's not here?
There's like I said, it's more concern for the kid. Every rep is important. So my concern is that it's 2 days too many already. It's for him. But as far as the installs go and the way we're preparing the rest of the team, that doesn't concern me at all. But this young man's got a chance to do something special around here that hasn't been done in a while, and every rep matters for him. So.
Just to follow up on what you're talking about, Mike has been talking to him about installs and stuff. Have you guys can you kind of screen share with him some of the stuff you guys are installing? Can Mike just talk to him on the phone saying, hey, check out this page, your playbook, this is what we're installing?
He knows it. So the install stuff is no different than it was in OTAs. It just carries over. It's on repeat. So he has all the information just from being in OTAs.
Right, so you read it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Robert, I guess when you started with Houston, there was still 2 days and it was still kind of old style training camp. Just watching the ramp up period, I understand player safety and stuff, but what's the challenge like for as a coach, to get them ready, but you're not able to do kind of the old school training camp?
Yeah, so Cal Ripken, I think it was Cal Ripken Jr., he once said that, I think it was him, said practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. And when you're dragging these guys through the mud, and it's just philosophy, everyone's got a different philosophy, but when you're dragging these guys through the mud and they're not able to execute their technique to the best of their ability because they're dragging, they just don't have their legs underneath them, and there's merit. They're not always going to have their legs, but when you're constantly being dragged through the mud and you're practicing bad habits, and so we believe in keeping these guys as fresh as possible. So when they do get their reps, they're optimizing every bit of movement that they have in their body, and so we feel that it's quality over quantity. You got plenty of walkthrough reps. You got plenty of group install reps. We got walkthrough before practice, after practice, in between practice, and then you get your live reps. So there's plenty of reps to get these young men ready to play a game. And obviously they're doing a good job with regards to film study and putting themselves through it mentally so they can optimize their reps when they happen.
How important are the joint practices that you'll have with Green Bay and Philly? And was that part of this equation that you would have another team that you could practice against without the 4th preseason game and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I've always personally, I mean, everyone's kind of different with how they view those preseason joint practices. I think they're fantastic, especially when teams go about it and they're not looking to fight. It's just they're looking to just get working, which I've been fortunate. I've been part of all those, but. I think it's good work because you see different defenses, you see different offenses, you see a different special teams unit. You're going against different bodies, and to be honest with you, I have always felt like you get more out of those joint practices than you do the actual preseason game, because it's just different, because it's a more controlled environment. It's you're not exposing yourself to being tackled or having the tackle, and it's. You can get a lot of work in it where it's a little bit more structured in terms of situations. You get just a lot more things can happen, and you're getting a really good view of the players, and they're also getting a shot to put their best foot forward to show what they can do on tape. So.
Take a couple more.
Is there any consideration to doing joints with the Giants?
There was obviously. I know it's been done traditionally, right, in the past and a long time ago. Hopefully next year. We would love to.
How recently did you speak to Zach?
Oh, God, I want to say it was sometime last week.
Last week?
Or earlier, Groundhog's Day, earlier this week.
Yeah. Would you be tempted, if this thing drags on, to call him up
and nudge him?
Yeah.
No, like I said, that's for him, the agent, and Joe. So.
Robert, a lot on the outside talk about with Zach not being here was the disappointment of how this was supposed to be a fresh start and a new energy for everybody, and that this kind of casts a little shadow. Do you feel any of that? Do you think that him not being here takes anything away from what you're doing and the energy you have?
No, it's I get outside perception, outside narrative, same old Jets, like whatever. It has nothing to do with any of that, and everything to do with a business transaction, and when it gets done, it gets done. But in here, guys are working. There's 8 or 9 other guys that are trying to make a living, and they're counting on us to put forth our best effort as coaches, and as an organization to put in the best position to succeed as individuals. And everything's gonna piece together, so everything's gonna be fine.
Zach Wilson questions. Carl Lawson seemed to be pretty active today. Are you impressed with what you've seen so far? And then also, if you could just talk a little bit about him and Mekhi going against each other.
It's I think it's really good for Mekhi and Carl, for that matter. I mean, I don't think they're gonna. Neither one of them are gonna see. It's like the opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of size, right? And I don't think either one of them. Carl's not gonna see a man that big, and And Makai's not going to see a man that's small and sawed off and rock. I mean, as strong as he is. And for those guys to get that work, and I think they're making each other strain in different ways that they'll see all season. And because of it, I think they'll get better for it.
Just in general, with fewer preseason games, are the padded reps in practice, do they become more important?
No, it's I don't think because of the lack of a preseason game it changes. You still have the 3 preseason games. No one ever really played in the 4th preseason game anyway. It was kind of a week off. I think you actually get more. You can get more work in with a third preseason or with a 3 game schedule for the especially once you get closer. I don't think the padded practices put, because we're still not going to tackle in practice. We're not going to do any of that. But what it does do is it helps guys loosen up, and it really gives you a good look at what the O-line and D-line is going to look like. Otherwise, everyone else is the same.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thanks, everybody.